So today, presenters, myself, so I'm head of business development here at Birdeye. Been with the company for almost 3 years. So anything partnership related is me, and I'm the real point person for this relationship with ACS and making sure any opportunities run smoothly, you have what you need to be successful, and looking forward to leading a portion of this meeting today. But I'll let Jacob jump in as well and introduce himself.
Hey everybody, Jake Smith. I manage our solutions engineering team, so really a technical resource to Brandon and to the rest of you all, actually, if you have any questions or if you need me to do anything, but I'll be walking through the platform today when we get to the demo.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, I think this webinar is about new opportunity for you, this audience of agents, consultants, and a new revenue stream, an opportunity to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. By working with Birdeye, as you'll find out, we're the highest rated online reputation management and CX platform in the space. And of course, ACS, and they're the only TSD provider partnered with Birdeye. So I think it creates a great opportunity for all of us involved. And again, it's our job to help drive success and create some wins together. Just a quick run through the agenda. We'll do a few slides, just getting familiar with Birdeye, who we are. I'll do a high-level overview of our platform, a couple case studies. There was a request to touch on how we quantify ROI. I have a quick slide for that. And Jacob will take over running a live demo of the platform, which will take up the majority of this meeting. And then hopefully we have time to circle back and go over some slides around qualifying deals, a little incentive we have for you, and how we can win together. So I'm gonna jump in and assume there's no questions throughout unless someone interrupts, and we'll kind of run through this piece of it pretty quickly. Again, a few slides to start, and then we'll pass it over to the demo. And these are really credibility slides on the front end to make sure you feel confident in Birdeye, we're legit, and you're comfortable working with us and referring your valued clients over to Birdeye when the timing's right. So we're really a reputation management and CX platform. We have products throughout the customer journey, as you can see to the right, from attracting, converting, and delighting. We'll naturally dig into this in more depth, but I think looking at it as a reputation and customer experience platform makes the most sense, although we are evolving more into a full marketing platform, which is evident by some of the products you may see there in our flywheel. So you can see our founding team is pretty impressive. They have a long tenured track record at some big brands. We're based out of Palo Alto. We've been around for about 12 years. And on the right side, you can see some of our investors, again, impressive at Salesforce, Yahoo, and most notably, and recently, helping lead our AI strategy, some other key investors. So this team has been leading tremendous growth for several time now. And I think it's 20% year-over-year growth for the past 12 years at least. And we're very established. We have 150,000 active customers, over 1,000 employees. A lot of those customers and employees are engineers. So we're truly a software technology company, and we have a global presence as well. So although we're a growing company, pre-IPO, we're also very mature, established, and we've established a strong track record for ourselves, as you can see here. And for me, this slide is, again, helping you feel confident in working with Birdeye. Within our space, we are the undisputed leader. If you know G2, as I'm sure you will, working with many software vendors, it's the best source of authentic, real reviews by customers, non-solicited, non-paid. We rank #1 in our core category, starting with reputation management. You may recognize some other competing brands there in the grid. But if you go into local listings, social media suites, experience management, feedback analytics, I think right now a total of eight categories we're ranked #1, all tied to these products are related and what you saw in the flywheel.
Do you mind going back to the flywheel real quick? I can help kind of explain what that looks like real quick. But when we start talking about Oh yeah, absolutely. And when we start talking about Birdeye, there's really kind of 3 facets to our solution. We have attract, convert, and delight. And we put it in the form of a flywheel because it really is, it's a repeatable process, right? And the idea here is to attract new customers for your businesses, for your clients. and for your partners, right? Making sure that listings are accurate and that reviews and reputation is on point, specifically in the way that Google and other search engines actually look at map pack placement and search engine optimization. So listings and reviews are a massive part of that algorithm that all of the different search engines put into place. And then once people actually find your business, we want to make sure that they have the ability to be converted into paying customers. So taking that qualified lead or that sales lead and then bringing it in and converting them into paying customers. Once they've become customers, right, we want to be able to understand that overall experience and really delight them so that they can come back, and also even start things like referral engines to share their experience with their networks as well. And again, once they have those referrals and once they've talked about us or talked about your partners, then they're going to Google them, and they want to make sure that the reputation is good once again. So the idea behind this flywheel is to really show the repetitiveness of this overall process. Starts with attract, and that's really what we're going to be touching on today, is the attract side, and then of course the delight side. The conversion part of this is really just making sure that you have a way to communicate with your potential customers or your potential customers, potential partners, potential clients, whatever that might be, but being able to communicate with them across all of the different channels. Again, our main focus today is going to be around listings, reviews, and then of course the insights and reporting that you can get out of the platform.
Thanks for that recap. Anything else? I'll skip through a lot of these fluff slides here. But yeah, the last slide where I was landing prior was just looking at our ICPs and some brands we work with. We really specialize working upmarket enterprise brands, and you'll hear a lot more about this throughout the presentation. We define segment, or enterprise in this case, by number of locations. So if you think about, B2C companies that work directly with end consumers, right, in their local marketplace, and they have hundreds, even thousands of locations, that's our core competency. That's where we thrive. Of course, there are other scenarios that exist where we can support clients, and even some B2B scenarios, but you'll notice most of these brands work with end consumers. Anything to add there, Jacob?
No, this is great.
Okay, perfect. And this slide for me is like the why, just to tee it up a bit more. Like, why Birdeye? What do you guys solve for? What's the purpose? Right? You can see like what we do, but it's really, why do we do it? And it's about consumers and how their behaviors have changed. If you think about local search rankings, 90% of searches start on Google. So especially from a local perspective, if a brand's not appearing locally in a Google search or in Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever it may be, they're invisible, right? They're not getting found. And that's a huge problem. Secondly, online reputation drives growth. 80% of consumers read online reviews for a local business. So we've all done it, right? We've even if it's for a restaurant, right, or buying some retail product locally in our area. If we're comparing online, where do we want to go? And one business has 30 reviews and a 2.5-star rating versus 75 and a 4-star rating. That 20 review business is not getting that business, right? They're going to literally lose business. They're not going to get chosen. And getting chosen is a key piece of online reviews. And lastly, consumer prefer digital connection. So 89% of customers and consumers prefer to message a business. They want to connect digitally. And if you're not connecting digitally these days, then it's a poor experience for your customers, again, or consumers in this case. And just to tie it all together, if you think about all of these experiences that are shared online by customers, by consumers, across search, reviews, social, even surveys and campaigns you may run independently, how are you aggregating all that data? How are you piecing all of these mediums together? And are you listening? And are you taking action? And going back to what Jacob just noted, the outputs of that and the impact that can have are huge on our platform and where they see the real value. And so what do? Right? We help support those areas. And to keep it as simple as possible, one, help businesses get found locally, get chosen locally, and get better, right? Improve their customer experience and delight those customers. And this is like the how, right? So you saw like, where consumers are these days, what's the purpose behind Birdeye? Well, what are you guys doing to solve for that? And this is a different version of our flywheel. So it actually touches on a lot of the same products, just more laser focused from an enterprise perspective. So I'm not going to dig too deep into these, but as Jacob noted as well, during the demo portion, we'll focus a little bit more on listings and reviews on the attract side, and certainly insights, competitors, AI, and hopefully some surveys and maybe social if time permits. But this is another way to see our platform outside of the flywheel itself. And again, you take all of these digital touch points, all of these experiences being shared, right? You can have hundreds of thousands, millions of pieces of data that exist, right? Within your own data warehouse that they're saying out there in the marketplace for you, okay, across search, social, whatever it may be. How do you make that actionable? How do you, work with that data and apply it to your business and actually improve and drive growth and win more business and retain clients? And that's where our implementation of AI, we call them AI assistants and data scientists, are I think really the most compelling piece of our platform.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if we go back to that slide real quick, Brandon, the main point here is that there's so much to do from a reputation, from a customer experience management perspective, and also from a listings management perspective, right? And if you start to implement strategies and you're using a platform, that's fantastic. But how do we actually automate the processes? How do I keep my lean team lean without having to hire a bunch of new people to be able to manage every single aspect of this? And this is where Birdeye really comes in. Our AI assistants are going to help you respond to reviews. They're going to help your partners be able to understand what that overall experience was when it comes to the reviews that they left or the survey responses that they left, right? Getting an understanding of all of that feedback while also helping you boost SEO. But we're doing this on the back end. Our AI team, or our AI assistants, I should say, or AI agents are actually going into the platform and they're working on this stuff for you so that you don't have to really manage it all yourself. It gives a lot of the marketers that you're working with an opportunity to focus on the more meaningful tasks other than having to worry about responding to every single review, for instance.
Perfect. Jacob, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jacob's on a lot of enterprise sales calls, and I'm not. I'm just running the partnership team. So next time I'll pass this one off to you and a few more. And I just have like a couple more slides as it relates to results and case studies. What does this look like in a real life scenario? We have a senior living facility, 41 locations, as I mentioned, location-based business, probably considered commercial enterprise on our side. And if you look at what's highlighted there in red, since they've been a customer, we've generated 2,500 new reviews. That's a 227% increase. Star rating is up to 4.7%, 4.7, and overall 1.4K Google reviews. Now, what does that mean? Because that's all; those are just metrics; those are nice. But what are the outputs? What does that mean to the business, and how do they quantify that? That means more views, right? More Google business profile views, 3.3 million, more website visits, more clicks to their Google business profile, and more calls coming from their Google business profile as well. And you can see a quote to the side. We've seen a significant improvement in sentiment and brand awareness, and it's really boosted our SEO. So I know Jacob really did a good job touching on the SEO value. We're not an SEO agency, but reviews, listings specifically, are really key indicators for Google determining, how to rank a brand locally when they search on Google. And the last case study here, again, similar situation. They have reviews, listings, insights. This one has 250 locations. It's a veterinary clinic. Over 100,000 new reviews, elevated star rating. What does that mean, again, to the business owner? 15.2 million Google profile views, which they didn't have before. And leaning on the insights portion of this, the ability to take all that data, capture it, make it actionable, and make improvements to patient satisfaction, right? And also looking at, when you look at some of these dashboards and the data that we put together and the customization of that, you can take specific targeted actions to enhance operations. And that's a huge portion of what Jacob will touch on our insights product. And the last piece, just from an ROI standpoint, like how do you quantify ROI, like big picture? Of course, it's unique to every client based on their products, their industry, and what their goals are. But we look at a few things, as you can see in the ROI summary chart. We'll look at efficiency savings, time savings, like doing a lot of this work manually, which is real human work right now occurring. Imagine having 250 locations, there's 100 listing sites, review sites. How do you manage that? By human, it's actually need a whole team of people. That's not necessary anymore. And we look at, of course, SEO, local visibility, increased traffic to the site, looking at conversion rates, average client value. What does that mean to the bottom line, minus the cost of Birdeye, right? So those are some of the pieces that we'll use to quantify ROI with our clients. And Jacob, I'll pass it off to you for the actual demo.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. So I like to start these conversations off with a little bit of introduction to the platform. I think the deck did a pretty good job of doing that, but just to reiterate the consolidated feel of the solution, when we start looking at the overall platform, it's really a modular solution in the fact that we have our review management area, right, where we can respond and manage those reviews. We have our listings area where we are able to actually manage those listings and understand things like overall ranking and stuff like that. We do have the surveys tool where we can start to ask for more feedback from our customers to really understand overall performance and how we can start to take that data and apply that to our overall customer experience strategy. And then, of course, a full social media management suite. There's other things like referrals and payments and a lot of different things that you can also add on when it comes to really looking at your holistic business operations and marketing automation and things like that. Our main focus again today is going to be really around the reputation, the listings, and the overall customer experience, while also referencing the fact that we have a full social media management suite mainly built for multi-location businesses and a survey or customer experience feedback engine where we can really start to request more information from our customers to understand how we're performing as a business. But this insights tool, it really focuses on the outcomes, right? What's really important when it comes to marketing is understanding overall online performance, whether that be from a reputation perspective, whether that be from a listings accuracy or local ranking perspective. And then, of course, leveraging all of that data along with that customer experience feedback to give you an overall online score. Now, this overall online score is a combination of all three of these different things. Now, the way that we measure this information is in the same exact way that Google actually measures this information as well, right? And really what Google is looking at is how do we rank businesses on our local map pack? So if somebody comes in, they understand, and I'm using a Empire Nissan of Bay Ridge in Brooklyn, New York as an example. They have a 4.4 star rating. They have almost 4,500 reviews. Or I'm sorry, 5,500 reviews. They're doing really well from a management perspective, but how does this actually translate into visibility? Well, in the same exact area, if I was to search for car dealerships, you'll notice that the brands that come up here don't even come close to the volume of reviews that Empire Bay Ridge Nissan has. And you'll notice things like 4.8 star rating with 396 reviews or 508 reviews of the 4.8 or 4.6 star rating. Why are these showing up above an organization that has almost 5,500 reviews with a pretty solid star rating? Well, what Google is looking at is they're looking at the reputation and making sure that when we're talking about reputation that they have an industry ranking star rating, which is something I'll get into in just a second. Also looking at the volume of reviews as it compares to the industry standard. And it also comes up with the response rate. Are we actually responding to every single review that comes into the platform? This is a really often overlooked piece of the SEO algorithm and SEO strategy is making sure that we're responding to every single review. So Birdeye operationally has these tools to make sure that you can boost your star rating, that you can boost the volume of reviews, and also respond to every single one of those reviews as well. Another aspect of SEO is also looking at a couple different things when it comes to listings management. One, how accurate are our listings across Google, across Facebook, across Apple Maps? But more importantly, when Google identifies the businesses for this map pack, they're actually running them through what they call a listing scan. And that listing scan is going to search for all of the different directories that are online. And this is typically about 60 plus different directories. It's not just Facebook or Google or Yelp or Bing or Apple Maps. They're actually looking at about 60 different sites, and they're trying to validate the businesses on the map pack by matching the information that's on Google across every single one of these sites. So you can see on Facebook here, there's a discrepancy, and that discrepancy is super minor. We're spelling out the word avenue as opposed to abbreviating it, right? This is considered an inaccuracy in the eyes of Google. So the idea behind the Birdeye solution is to ensure that your information is up to date across every single one of these different directories. We will also not only correct any kind of inaccuracies, but we'll also build and verify profiles across all of these different sites so that your information is complete. And this is typically where we make a ton of impact immediately with our clients. As soon as they're implemented, all of this information is up to date and accurate across all of these different directories, which has a huge SEO benefit and typically gets people into the top of the map pack very, very quickly. And that's usually what we see as the biggest weakness is our local ranking across all of these different sites means that we don't have very good accuracy and we don't have full and complete profiles across Google, which are the two main factors that help you get ranked higher across search engines. So from a listings perspective, we help automate all of this, right? We build out a business profile for every single one of the locations. Every single location is going to have the categorical information, and I'm just going to choose a random one here. Let's say Tustin Nissan. This information is going to include all of the categorical pieces that you might find across the Google My Business page, right? What are the service options? What is the business description? What's the website, right? What is my phone number? All of this information is going to be something that's placed into this business profile. And then once this business profile is launched and active, it automatically publishes all of this information out to every single one of these different sites. This is where it automatically corrects any kind of inaccuracies, and it also builds and verifies profiles across all of the different sites that are important to Google when it comes to SEO tracking. So listings is not the sexiest part of the platform, but it is a very important part of the overall SEO algorithm and getting placed into that map pack. Again, our goal is to attract new customers so that we can then convert them and then delight them with an amazing customer experience. So this is the first piece of the puzzle, is making sure that listings are up to date. The second piece of this puzzle is from a reputation perspective. What does this actually mean? Well, reputation really sits in 4 different areas. One, we want to make sure that we have the ability to understand our performance. And that kind of performance is going to be wrapped up in 3 different areas. Again, it's the star rating, the reviews, and the overall response rate. But we need tools to be able to manage all of this effectively. So we start with review generation. And what this really means is we would typically integrate with any kind of CRM or point of sale or customer database systems. Typically, it's something like Salesforce, for instance. But as soon as we build out that automation or build out that integration, we use what we call triggering events. And this could be a purchase of a new car. This could be a service appointment is completed. This could be whatever the business would like to use as a referral, as a review request engine. But essentially what happens as soon as that review request is triggered, it automatically is sent out via text message and or via email. And it's going to include a couple different options. One is the site that we would like to actually leave the review on, and you can choose up to 4 different sources. We always recommend having at least 2 because not everybody has a Gmail address, but those that don't have a Gmail address probably have a Facebook identifier as well. So they'd be able to leave a review across one of these top sites. But more importantly, we're also color coding this as a way to help drive negative experiences onto a secondary path. If we click on that contact us directly, it'll give them a chance to fill out their experience. And while it still comes in the form of a review inside of Birdeye so that they can respond to it, but it's not a public facing review. So we're really driving those positive experiences to the public sites and those negative experiences to be able to share that feedback with us privately. So this is where the review generation is not only a big differentiator, but it also is a big boost in terms of star rating and volume of reviews. Once those reviews are left, they then land inside of our reviews module. And inside of this reviews module, not only can we monitor every single review that's coming in from over 200 different sites, but we also have the opportunity to respond to these reviews from within the platform. But more importantly, we also want to understand what is actually being said. This starts to move into that delight phase, right? But once they've made that purchase, we want to understand that feedback. But this is also where our AI assistants and our AI data scientists are actually providing value to our clients. Is it becomes very difficult to be able to understand and read through every single review. You'll notice that in this reviews page, I'm looking at all time, but we see 279,000 reviews that are coming in. It's almost impossible unless we hired a team of people to do this to actually understand what is being said. So our system is going to allow for an AI system to come in and actually summarize every single aspect of all of these reviews. What's the positive sentiment? What's the negative sentiment? Where can we improve our overall service? And again, this also feeds into the insights, which I'm going to get into in just a second, but this really helps us understand what's actually being said. The second piece to management is also ensuring that we have an ability to respond on specific sites. So if I wanted to respond to a review, we can do so in the platform where all I have to do is come in and type in my review response. I also have the ability to leverage things like templates to automate the review response as well. And again, if we have this volume of reviews coming in, even if I was just to use the Bay Ridge Nissan as an example here, 5,500 reviews, that's a ton to actually respond to. So we need some sort of tools that are going to make it a lot easier. These templates that we have in the platform are going to allow you to automate the delivery of these responses to these reviews. So you can set up rules and say, for every 4 and 5 star reviews, there's only so many ways I can say thank you, but I can choose up to 10 different templates, and the system will automatically respond with those templates, and it'll cycle through those 10 different templates so it never looks like the same response every single time. Adversely, any kind of reviews that don't have any text to them, 1, 2, or 3 star reviews, there's only so many ways we can say, I'm sorry you didn't have a good experience. Please give us a call or please email us at our customer care line. What this is going to do is automatically respond to those. So now, instead of having to respond to every single review, now my team is only coming in and responding to those 1, 2, and 3 star reviews with text. And by hopefully collecting all of this feedback, we can start to minimize those negative experiences. But again, once those reviews come in, I have the opportunity to leverage our AI system to then conveniently or efficiently respond to these reviews without having to actually jump in and write down a response every single time I see them. So review response is a massive but also overlooked opportunity for businesses to gain higher representation on the map pack. Reputation is a really big part of this, but if we're not responding to reviews and if we don't have accurate listings, it's going to be a lot harder for us to be able to be found. So we give you the operational tools to actually handle all of that within the platform and make it a lot easier for you to manage both listings and your reputation. So another thing that we've touched on too is, right, the attract portion of this. We have the reputation tools. We have a lot of automation built into it to help you boost your volume of reviews and also help you mitigate those negative reviews so you can boost that star rating. We're also helping you with your listings management. But once you're actually found, how are we going to convert those customers? And that's really where our social tool comes in and makes it a lot easier for your teams to be able to manage social media on a specific platform. What we've done is we've built a social media management solution that not only allows you to create meaningful content, but also manage your entire month, your entire year, or the next 5 years for social media content. You can publish this content through our platform, and you can simultaneously publish the exact same content across all of the different social media channels. It's really built for multi-location and multi-channel businesses. So I have the opportunity, once I'm connected across all of my Facebook channels, to be able to come in and create content. I can leverage AI to be able to come up with really meaningful post ideas. So instead of having to worrying about coming up with engaging content, let the AI actually come in and scour the blogosphere for meaningful and trending content. And then when I click into these prompts, it's going to help me build social media posts, multimedia content, hashtags, and also emojis, so that I can create more meaningful content for all of my social channels. I can insert that content, so I'll just choose this and this as my images. Now I have a full social media post that's going to allow me to choose images and also content and hashtags for my social media communities. Once I want to do this, I can schedule this post at a specific time, but I do have full control over what this post actually says. On top of this, we also want to make sure that our social media content is actually working. So we can actually analyze all of the content that we've published, looking at things like overall engagement, looking at all of our channels, but making sure, oops, I don't have any data because this is a demo account, not actually publishing it. But what our analyzed content is going to do is really allow you to build a social media analysis engine that tracks things like impressions and reach and engagements and things like that. So not only can you publish, but you can also report on the success of all of your social media content. Now, once we've converted customers, we want to be able to delight them. So talking about that review feedback that we got is also really important, using that AI summary tool, but also asking more detailed questions. We also have a survey solution that's going to help us understand what people are actually saying when it comes to all of the content or all of the surveys that we've sent out, right? What does that customer experience actually look like? And then from here, we can use that same summary analysis tool to help us understand what those survey responses are. But you can customize the surveys to be very specific with what people are actually asking for. So when I make a purchase, I want to understand what the sales process looked like. I want to understand what my experience was when I picked up my vehicle or when I traded in my vehicle. I want to understand what that service department actually does for my business. I want to understand what that experience looks like. So you can have as many surveys as you'd like, and then customize those surveys to ask for the feedback that matters the most to you or your business unit. So when your partners are going in to look at their survey experience, it's going to be very specific to the sales, the maintenance, or the restoration part of their business, whatever it might be. But they can ask questions to really understand exactly how that customer experience is going, and then leverage that information to make better business decisions. And that leads us finally to our insight solution. We talked a little bit about reputation and listings, but now when it comes to review feedback, when it comes to survey feedback, we now have an opportunity to really understand what that customer experience is. Leveraging our AI to summarize all of your surveys and your reviews in one place, but then also being able to categorize that feedback so that you understand how each individual location is performing. Where are our strong categories? What are our weaker opportunity, or where are our weaker categories, and where are our areas for improvement? And then more importantly, taking a look at all of this data in a very detailed format so that you can see your performance across all of the key categories of your partner's business. And then finally, now that we understand how we're doing, we also want to understand how we're doing against our competitors. So from here, we take a look at detailed competitive benchmarking. Not only are we helping you understand what your reputation looks like against your competitors, but what's the overall sentiment? What's that customer experience for your competitors as well? How are they performing across the key areas of the business that are important to you? And then you can start to take advantage of some of their shortfalls and really understanding, like, hey, if we improve our wait time, we're going to be able to steal more customers from our competitors. We're also going to have recommendations from the AI system to really help you understand what some of these recommendations actually mean and where those shortfalls are. And then we take a very detailed view into strengths and weaknesses against your competitors. Now, this type of data is something that would take a data analyst months to prepare. They have to go through surveys, they have to go through reviews, they have to go through reputation, read through all of that content to really understand strengths and weaknesses, where within a couple seconds, our tool is now going to summarize all of this for you and give you really detailed information when it comes to where you're winning, where your competitors are winning, where you both are really strong, and then where there's also some areas for opportunity for improvement against your competitors as well. And this, again, is really a big focus on the outcomes and why we have the flywheel. We want to understand how we're performing from a search engine perspective. Are we delighting our customers? Are we converting our customers? And more importantly, are we providing an exemplary customer experience so that they can refer their network, and then we can start the process over again? But constantly keeping an eye on all three of these different things is very difficult, but with Birdeye becomes very easy because most of this is now automated. I tried to keep that pretty short and sweet, Brandon. So I'll send the ball back to you.
You did a phenomenal job. I've never seen you get through all of that quickly, that well. So yeah, just wrapping a couple things up regarding like winning together, selling together, co-selling, whatever you want to call it. There are just a couple things I think it's really important to communicate from our side in understanding, what a qualified Birdeye opportunity looks like. And this is like just a few check boxes just to keep in mind. One, your clients and customers or consumers, again, ultimately B2C brands. They're multi-location brands, right? It could be one, right? We certainly work with individual small businesses, but we can support over 1,000 businesses within all of our products just shared. Naturally, each location generates business locally, not all the time, but it's important to capture market within your community. Most of the time, they're going to be very transactional, like high volume. And you think about brands that value their local visibility, getting found where consumers are searching, outranking competitors online. They think reputation is really important to them. They put a really big priority on customer experience or feedback, or they have it and they need to, right? Maybe they're not really advanced or modernized in their digital transformation. Like all these, use cases would support a reason to meet with Birdeye. And lastly, you may have seen on the ICP slide and some of the logos we have, but you think about financial services, auto, retail, healthcare, dental, wellness, legal, real estate, hospitality, home services, consumer services, and there are lots of subcategories, but I think you get the point. So like checking these boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think that's what you need right there to really say, okay, this is a good situation for me and my customer. Let me make an intro to Birdeye. And the last slide regarding qualifying opportunities, I know ACS asked me to touch on this as well. If you think about who the right decision makers are, and Jacob, if you have other input because you're on these meetings all day long, let me know. But you think about leaders in departments such as marketing, customer experience, client success, communications, operations. I know for many that work with ICS in the IT space and do the consulting there, that the technology contacts are going to be more prevalent. You'll find out, and some of us have found out that getting a reference back to someone on the marketing team or customer experience team may also be valuable. And then if you look to the right, I'm not going to go through these now. This information, these documents are provided to ACS directly, which they can pass along to you in their enablement portal. But in a version of this deck, you'll get on the recording or actual hard copy on a PDF. They'll be there for reference in the future. And the very last slide that I have, an incentive was mentioned. I know we have, I can see at least channel leaders on the call from ACS directly, who I'm sure will communicate down to their agents, and this will be disseminated to agents across the country. But nothing huge, but a start, right, to get things kicked off in the right direction and build some momentum. $100 gift cards to the first 3 qualified new demo opportunities. You think about what qualified means, kind of go back to this checklist, right? Not to mention the rev share commissions that we pay in perpetuity, which I think can be pretty sweet. So I don't want to go on longer than necessary. Again, I know time is money. I appreciate everyone jumping on, or at least listening to this call afterwards. I don't know if Sergio or anyone on the ACS team has anything for us before we end today.
I just want to say I'm super grateful for both of your times. This is going to be a recording. This is gold. We're going to share this with all our partners, add it to our portal, and push it to all our agents so that they continue to know about Birdeye and reputation management. But again, honestly, really grateful for what you guys have done here today.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, and if anyone wants to reach out to me directly, I don't know if that's the protocol, all right, or through whoever you work with at ACS directly. Here's my email again. You can look me up on LinkedIn as well, or go through ACS and they'll connect and get you all the information you have. A version of this deck is also available, as well as the resources. So excited to work with you all and win together. So thanks for your time. Jacob, thank you as well.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.